Hi, and welcome to this heart-opening yoga flow. It's pretty much in the name there. We're going to be opening through the chest and shoulders and tapping into that fourth chakra, Anahata, responsible for our loving energy inwards and outwards. Find a comfortable seated position. You might have some blocks nearby. No worries if not. You can use that for our Sukhasana, our easy seated pose to support the hips. Then resting the hands down where they feel comfortable, maybe in the knees or in the lap, lengthen through the spine. Let's just roll the shoulders back and down. We're already starting with that opening of the chest. When you're ready, let's take a breath together. Breathing in and out. Closing down the eyes or taking a soft gaze somewhere on the floor. And as always, let's take a moment to turn our attention inwards, to check in with ourselves, our minds, our bodies, before we dive into our practice. That's the beautiful thing about coming onto the mat, is that it's our moment to realign. And let's tune into the breath. A moment to observe the breath, however it's moving naturally in and out of the body. And let's take 3 breaths together to open our practice. Breathing in. Open the mouth to exhale. Inhale, filling up all parts of the lungs. Exhale. One last deep breath in. And releasing out. Blinking open the eyes if they're closed. Let's interlace the fingers in front of the body. Keep the palms towards you. Now press the arms away, rounding through the upper back, chin in towards the chest. Good. Inhale, flip the palms around, reach them up towards the ceiling. Now really press, 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 all the way from the base of the spine. Exhale, bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Inhale, open through the chest, soften those shoulders away from the ears, draw the knuckles to the ground. Good, let's flow through once more. Interlace the fingers in front of the body. Exhale, press forwards, rounding through the upper back. Inhale, flip the palms around, stretching up. Exhale, hands come behind you, interlace the fingers. Inhale, open through the chest. Good, releasing. Come over the knees, come into a tabletop position. So you might want a blanket or something underneath the knees here, but not essential. Spread the fingers nice and wide. You want the knees about hip-width apart here. Let's keep the hips really high as we start to walk the hands forwards towards the front of the mat. Good. Exhale, open the chest and shoulders towards the ground. Option to have the forehead on the floor here. If you fancy a deeper stretch through the upper spine, bring that chin onto the ground. And let's take 2 breaths here. Breathing in. Breathing out. This is our melting heart pose. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale, start to walk those hands back towards you. Tucking the toes under, lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. And let's start to walk the feet out here. Bending one knee, then the other. Walking through the feet. I call this walking the dog. I don't use that term very often though. Maybe a little bit of movement with the hips, with the knees. Start to dip that hip down as the knee bends. Now you want to spread the fingers really wide here. Press those palms into the floor so you've got a really strong foundation for your downward facing dog. All right, bring that left foot into the middle slightly. Inhale. Take the right leg up towards the ceiling. Now, it doesn't matter how high the leg is going. We just want to start opening through that hip. Now bend the knee, bring the heel towards the pelvis. So you open that top hip a little bit further. So that knee is coming high to the ceiling. And let's take some circles with the ankles here. So rotating that top ankle one way about 3 times and then in the other direction. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, take that knee all the way towards the nose. Now really lift up through the body here. Good. Inhale, let's go up and back just one more time. Exhale, knee to nose. Place the foot down, lower the back knee, sweep the arms under and through, low lunge, and Vinyasa. Make sure you've got a nice right angle with that front leg here. Stack the knee over the ankle. Press through the upper body. Exhale, bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Inhale, open through the chest. Pull those shoulders down and send that heart center forwards. Good, one more breath here. Exhale, take the gaze down to the ground. Front foot comes behind you, high plank. Round through the upper back here, press into the floor. Take a breath in. Exhale, we lower the knees down, then the chest, then the chin. Inhale, baby cobra. Just lift the torso slightly, squeeze the elbows together. Exhale, tuck the toes, shoot the hips back, and then up, downward facing dog. Good. Let's start to walk the feet out a little bit again. Just waking up the back of the legs. Let's go for the other side. Inhale, left leg rises, bending that knee, heel towards the pelvis. Now open that top hip a little bit more, so the knee's lifting even higher. Gaze can come maybe underneath that left shoulder. And let's take those ankle rotations. So rotating a few times one way and the other way. There's usually always a few clicks in the ankles here. That's totally fine. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, knee all the way towards the nose. Round through the upper back. Good. Inhale, lifting up and back. Last time. Exhale, knee to nose. Place that foot down now. Lower the back knee. Sweep the arms under and through. Low lunge. And Vinyasa. Good. Make sure this front leg is at a nice right angle. Option to have something under the back knee here. Try and press through the upper body. Our tendency is to kind of soften the arms down here. We really want to engage the upper body. On your next exhale, bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Inhale, open through the chest. Good. Now tune into the sensation of that front body opening here. Last breath. Exhale, gaze comes down, forward fold at the front of the mat. Take the feet about hip width apart. Have a really soft bend in the knees. Allow the chest to come towards the thighs. Catch hold of the elbows so we're in our ragdoll position. Good. Little sway from side to side here. Let the neck and the head be heavy, hanging down. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands towards the ground. Inhale, halfway lift, slide the hands up the shins, lengthen the spine, pull the shoulders back. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand, palms together above the head, reaching towards the ceiling. Exhale, press the hands down through heart center, then open the hands to find mountain pose, Tadasana, at the top of the mat. So for our mountain pose, palms are facing forwards towards that front of the mat. Draw the tailbone down towards the ground, then lengthen from the crown of the head, soften the shoulders. So we get that nice alignment of the body before we start flowing through. Sun salutation A. Inhale, take the hands above the head, reaching towards the ceiling. Exhale, folding all the way down, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands come down, take the right foot back and then the left. Take a breath in here in your high plank. Exhale, option to knees, chest, chin. Or Chaturanga Dandasana, take yourself onto the toes, gaze forwards, bend the elbows back, hover above the floor. Inhale, together, upward facing dog. So press the tops of the feet down, lift through the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Always the option to take your child's pose instead. Or if you're with me, then we're going to be in our downward facing. And let's take 2 more breaths here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, looking towards the hands, bend the knees. Take the right foot forwards and then the left. Come into that halfway lift. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we rise all the way up to stand, reaching towards the ceiling, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Good, so that's our complete sun salutation A. Let's go again. Inhale, we stretch up. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, option to step. Maybe you're going to take a little jump. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Option to take your child's pose, as always. And we'll take 3 breaths. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. One last breath in. And out. Inhale, looking towards the hands, bend the knees. Exhale, step or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, folding all the way down. You can always grab the shins here if you can't reach the floor. Inhale, rising all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands down through heart center. This is Samastitihi. Good. All right, sun salutation B. Inhale, bend the knees, sink the arms under and through, chair pose, Utkatasana. Now try and tuck the tailbone under here, shift the weight back towards the heels, press through the arms, maybe you just see the toes past the knees, and the gaze comes back up towards the hands. Good, let's take 1 more breath here, breathing in. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, your Vinyasa. So maybe stepping or jumping, maybe knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So picking up the heat and pace a little bit now. Inhale, look towards the hands. Right foot steps forwards, behind the right wrist. Ground the back heel to 45 degrees. We rise up, warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Square the hips, right hip back, left hip forwards. Lunge a little bit deeper, maybe you need to widen the stance. Exhale, hands come down, frame the front foot to the back. Optional Vinyasa. Good. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side. Left foot comes forwards, ground the back heel, we rise up, warrior 1. Square the hips, lunge into that front leg. Exhale, hands come down. Front foot to the back, optional Vinyasa member. You can go straight to child's pose here. You can go straight to downward facing, or you can take your knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, upward facing dog, then downward facing dog. So once you start to develop your practice more, you become more familiar with these different variations you can take. And that will be whatever you need on that day or in that practice is what can serve you. Let's take 1 more breath here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale, lift the heels, ripple forwards into a high plank. Exhale, we're going to come all the way down on the front of the body for 3, for 2, and down for 1. Let's find our locust pose, Shavasana. Let's keep the hands either side of the ribcage for now. As you inhale, lift the upper and lower body together. Keep those shoulders away from the ears and gazes forward slightly. Exhale, lowering down. Good, and again, inhale, we lift. Exhale, coming down. Last one, stretch the arms behind you now, palms towards the ground. Inhale, we lift. And let's stay here for 3 more breaths. So you want to shoot the fingers and toes away from you as much as possible while lifting through the upper body into that back bend. Let's take one last breath in, lift a little bit higher. Good, exhale, take the elbows wide, rest the forehead onto the hands for a moment. We can just wiggle the hips side to side a little bit. And let's take one more breath here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Bending the knees behind you. We're going to catch hold onto the outside of the ankles. Good. And let's start off by just pulling the feet in towards the pelvis, stretching through the front of the thigh. Now you have the option to stay here, or you can come with me and we can lift up into our bow pose. So you want to kick the shins away from me here. Lift up through the shoulders. Gaze is not straight ahead, a little bit down towards the floor, just to soften the back of the neck. One more breath here. Inhale, lift a little bit higher. Exhale, coming down, good. Hands either side of the rib cage, press back. Let's find a child's pose. Option to take the knees wide and reach the arms forwards. Or if you fancy, you can bring those knees together and the arms behind you. I'm going to take that wide leg option, so feel free to come with me. We have those two options there because generally people find one feels a little bit more restful than the other. So never be afraid to play around and try different things, to learn your body and see what feels best for you. Let's take one more breath here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale, rising up through our tabletop, and then tucking the toes, lift up and back into our downward facing dog. All right, we're going to flow through a standing sequence now. Inhale, looking towards the hands, right foot comes forwards, come to that warrior one. Ground the back heel to 45 degrees, reach the arms up towards the ceiling, lunge into that front leg, square the hips. Good, exhale, hands come behind you, interlace the fingers. Inhale, open through the chest. Good, one more breath here. Breathing in. Breathing out. As you exhale, we're going to lower the chest down towards the ground, just on the inside of that thigh, coming into our humble warrior. So aiming for the crown of the head to come down towards the floor, the hands all the way overhead. Good, really lunging into that front leg, allowing the upper body to fold down towards the ground. One more breath here. Inhale, lift the chest slightly, reach that left arm towards the floor, lift the heel towards the ceiling, and right arm stretches upwards. So we come into a little twist. Now, if you have your blocks nearby, you might want one block underneath that bottom hand to help support the upper body. Now, really find that rotation through the torso. Good, one more breath here. From here, we're going to take a really big transition into our warrior two. So cartwheel the arms up and around, open the body to come down into that warrior two pose. So that front heel should be intersecting the arch of the back foot. Back foot is parallel to the short side of the mat, and we're lunging into that front leg. Soften the shoulders away from the ears, gazing to that front middle finger. Flip the front palm over now, reach forwards. Keep that lunge in the body as you take yourself back into a reverse warrior. Back hand is down either onto the back leg, or we can wrap this arm around and reach for the opposite hip crease. Now really open through this right side of the body. Gaze lifts. Keep lunging into that front leg. I know this is really strong in the body. I can feel it too. One more breath here. Good. Inhale. Rising back through that warrior two. Exhale, front arm comes down to the thigh, sweep the back arm under and through, extended side angle. Option to stay here, or this bottom hand can come down to the ground, or we can find a half bind with the arm behind the back, maybe full bind with the arm underneath the leg. Now you can always try one of these options and then take it back to a previous one if you want to. We don't need a lifelong commitment to any poses. Last breath here. Exhale. Bring the hands down. Frame the front foot. Front foot comes to the back. Optional vinyasa. Maybe knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Maybe you're going straight to your upward facing dog or child's pose. And if you're with me, we're in downward facing dog. And we're going to take 3 breaths here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath, breathing in and out. Inhale, looking towards the hands, left side, left foot comes forwards. Ground the back heel down, we rise up, warrior one. Virabhadrasana 1 on the left side. Square the hips, lunge deeper. Try and press through the upper body. Exhale, hands come behind you, interlace the fingers. Inhale, open through the chest. Exhale, let's take that chest down on the inside of the thigh. So allow the crown of the head to lower here. And we don't want to be collapsed onto that front leg. We want the chest to be just on the inside. Folding down into the body. Let those arms come overhead as much as possible. One more breath here. Inhale, we lift slightly. Right hand reaches to the floor, lift the back heel. Other arm stretches towards the ceiling. Try and twist at the torso, gaze follows that top hand. Good, one more breath. Now we take that big transition into our warrior two. I recommend taking the gaze down first. Ground the back heel, cartwheel the arms, and then reshuffle the feet. So we find that correct warrior two position. Now really press those arms out to the side. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. This is a really strong pose, so give it what it needs. Flip the front palm over, reach forwards. Keep the lunge in the legs as you reverse that warrior. Back hand down to the back leg, or we can wrap. Now you can see that wrap a little bit clearer now that I'm facing the other way. Open through that left side of the body. One more breath. Inhale, we rise up. Warrior two. Exhale, front arm comes down to the thigh. Sweep the back arm under and through. Extended side angle. Option to stay here, or we have those variations with the hands. Maybe the bottom hand is down to the ground. Maybe we take a wrap behind the back. Option to bind. Once again, you can see that bind a little bit clearer now. I'm facing the other way. If you're binding, try and open the chest. Lift the gaze to the ceiling. Now you might be in one of those other options. Wherever you are is totally fine. Last breath in. Exhale. Hands down. Frame that front foot. Front foot comes to the back. Optional vinyasa. Maybe you're going straight to downward facing dog. Maybe child's pose. And just taking a moment wherever you are. Let's take 2 more breaths, either in your downward facing dog or child's pose. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, look into the hands. Bend the knees. We're going to step or jump through the hands onto the ground. Good. Let's stretch those legs out in front. Then take that right knee in towards you. Foot onto the outside of the thigh. pull that foot all the way back towards the sit bones. So we start to line up with the knees. We're coming into our Gomukhasana. Option to have this bottom leg straight. Or if you're with me, you can pull that foot underneath. So you bring both feet back towards the sit bones. Good, lining up through the knees. Stretch that left arm up towards the ceiling. Now bend the elbow and catch hold of that top elbow. We're going to start to draw this elbow into center line. Option to stay here, or you can bend that other arm underneath, catch hold of either clothing or fingertips if you can find them. Good. So open through the chest here, but don't puff out the chest. Just focus in on that shoulder joint. Good, we're shining that heart center forwards. 2 more breaths here. One last breath in. Exhale, release the hands. We're folding down into the body. So let the hands come down onto the floor, bowing forwards. Maybe the head can rest on that top knee. Maybe it doesn't quite reach. Just allow the shoulders to soften here. We'll start to slow down the breath. One more breath here. Inhale, rising up. Straighten that bottom leg and then the top, and just bring the soles of the feet onto the floor, fingers pointing away behind you. We'll let the knees fall side to side. Just getting a little bit of movement through the hips. And then we'll go over to the other side. So bring that left knee in towards you. Foot over onto the other side of the thigh. Pull that foot back towards the sit bone. Remember, you can have this bottom leg straight if you want to, or you can pull that foot in underneath as well. When you're ready, take that right arm up towards the ceiling, bending the elbow, catching hold of that top elbow. Option to stay here, or you can bring that other arm underneath and catch hold of the fingers or some clothing behind you. Remember, we're not puffing out the chest here. Tuck the tailbone under slightly, just open through that shoulder joint. And the gaze is forwards, but feel free to close down the eyes. Take one last breath in. Exhale, folding down into the body. Letting the body soften here. Slowing down the breath. Take one last breath here. Inhale, rising up. Straighten the bottom leg and then the top. We're just going to take a seated forward fold called Paschimottanasana. So try and tilt those hips forwards first. Option to bend the knees here. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, sending the heart center forwards, folding down into the body. Now, if you have a strap, it can come around the end of the feet, or like towel, bathrobe, anything. I didn't tell you to get it at the beginning, so you might not have it nearby. That's fine. If you're here, it's okay, but just maybe bend the knees so we can lengthen the spine first, but rather than folding over like so. Good. Let's take one more breath here. Just really working into those hamstrings and the back of the leg with this pose. Inhale, rising up. Shuffling the hips towards the end of the mat. Holding onto the knees. lowering yourself down onto the back of the body. Now bring those feet in nice and close towards you. Feet are about hip width apart. Reach the fingers towards the heels. Press the palms down. We're going to take one bridge pose here. Lift those hips nice and high. Engage the inner thighs. 3 more breaths here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath in. Breathing out. Lowering the hips down to the ground. Taking that right leg over the left. Let the knees fall down to the left side. Arms can stretch out if there's enough space. If there's not, cactus those arms by bending the arms, fingers towards the head. Maybe the gaze comes in the opposite direction here, going towards that right hand. And we'll just start to round off our practice now. I always enjoy closing practice with a couple supine twists. Just feels really nice for the body and the nervous system. Exhale, bring the body back down onto the floor. Switch over to the other side, left leg over the right. Let those knees fall. If you find the twist is a bit intense with the leg crossed over, just uncross the legs and let the knees fall on their own. And once again, the head can go towards that left side. And we'll just start to let go of any effort now. Exhale, rolling down onto the back of the body. Straightening the legs onto the floor. Rest the arms either alongside you with the palms to the ceiling, or if you fancy, those hands can come onto the body if that feels a little bit more comfortable. Either closing down the eyes or taking a soft gaze somewhere on the ceiling. And we'll take a moment here in our Shavasana. Again, letting go of any effort, of any work. Allowing the body to sink down. Allowing the muscles to soften. And to give yourself this time here in stillness. Start to bring your awareness back into the body. Noticing the ground beneath you. And let's take 3 breaths together to close our practice. Breathing in and out. Inhale. Exhale. One last deep breath in. And releasing out. Bending the knees, rolling over to one side. Slowly coming up to seated. Bring the hands to heart center and just thanking yourself for taking the time to practice today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.